For almost 50 years, Midway USA has been America's go-to source for just about everything for shooting, hunting, and the outdoors. Go to midwayusa.com to see our latest deals and promotions and take advantage of our super fast same-day shipping. If you need a cooler, a new fishing rod, another rifle, ammo, or a reloading press, you can find it all at midwayusa.com. Thanks for your business.
At Midway USA, we put customers first. The Nitro Express shipping system is icing on the cake. It was a big investment of time and money to take super fast, low-cost shipping to a whole new level. The Nitro Express helps ensure same-day shipping and low shipping costs. We hope you enjoy the Nitro Express. We built it just for you. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to midwayusa.com.
I'm Larry Potterfield with Midway USA. Thanks for your business.
This episode is brought to you by Vortex Optics and Ignite Marketing Group. Check the links in the show notes.
I just noticed movement through the thicket, and I see antlers, and I'm like, here we go. This is what I've been waiting for all season. I haven't seen a buck all season. This is it. And he's probably 60 yards away, and all I can see is rat through the brush feeding, and all of a sudden there's a doe. Feels like she just appeared out of nowhere because I was so focused on him. And she's close. She's 30 yards. Just holding my bow like this, trying to not move. And I feel like I watched those deer for a half an hour. And they just slowly were feeding on acorns, coming up closer, closer. And at one point, the doe was probably at 10 yards. And she's to my right, and she just looks right at me. But it's like she's looking through me.
Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Hunting Stories Podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and I still have a frog in my throat, and I apologize for that. With that being said, we got another great episode for you today. Today, we connect with Joe Rosenbaum. Joe reached out. He's a listener, and he's like, hey, I've got some fun stories to tell. And as always, he did not disappoint. In fact, he showed up with another guest, his son, Joey. And Joey gave me, 21 questions at the beginning and end of this episode. And he's just a little fan that loves hunting as well. So it was super cool to have Joe and Joey on. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. And for you guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoy this episode as much as I did talking with Joe and Joey. That being said, guys, let's just go ahead and kick this thing off. You don't need to hear my voice more than you have to. So let's let Joe tell you some of his stories. Thank you. All right, Joey, welcome to the Hunting Stories Podcast. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here, Joe. You reached out. I think you filled out my form saying, hey, I got some stories to tell, and I'm excited to hear your stories today. And beyond that, you seem to have brought a guest with you, which is exciting. I was unaware, and it's nice to meet you, Joey. But why don't we start here? Why don't you guys introduce yourself? Maybe Joe Senior, you start, and then Joey, you can jump in after that.
Yeah, I live in Indiana. Big deer hunter, turkey hunter. I didn't really grow up hunting. Actually, one of the stories I'm going to talk about is my first hunt, and I was 23 years old. So, yeah. So after that, though, I got pretty into it. So now I'm obsessed.
That's perfect. Will you touch on it in the story, or can I ask, like, what was the catalyst that got you started hunting?
Basically, all my friends hunted. And I was feeling a little left out, to be honest. So, I went
condolences.
And bought a Mossberg. I went and bought a Mossberg 500, and the first deer I ever had was with that gun. So it was pretty cool. Yeah,
that's amazing. Okay, very cool. And who did you bring here with you today?
Hi, I am Joey.
Hey, Joey. How old are you, Joey?
10.
10. All right. And I assume you've been hunting your whole life, haven't you?
No, but I have went hunting with my dad here, and I've quite kind of liked it, and is it okay if I ask a question or two?
You can ask as many questions as you want. I was not aware there would be a test, so I hope you like my answers, but you can ask anything you want, Joey.
have you ever had an elk?
You mean have I ever shot one or ever eaten one?
Yes.
Both, yes,
Shot
is my answer. Yeah, so I've actually been elk hunting for like 10, 11 years, maybe a little bit more now. Started with muzzleloader in Washington, and now I live in Colorado. And what was it, 2023? So 3 seasons ago, I got my first archery elk. And Joey, I'll send you a photo of him. I can even send a video if you want, Joe, of me, the actual arrow shot, if that's appropriate, if you want to share that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went.
Awesome.
Yeah, I went elk hunting with Jermaine Hodge and Pat Luttrell, who had both won World Elk Calling Championships. What's funny is the elk that we got, they didn't call in. We snuck in on it, and we killed it silent. So, but yeah, and actually I had an elk steak for lunch today. So they're delicious, and you guys got to get out here and do it if you haven't. Joey, you got to be a little bit older, but when you get there, man, there's nothing like it.
All right, my second. Well, you basically kind of answered my second question a little bit.
Okay.
Which was, what is your favorite elk story?
My favorite elk story. It's definitely that. Well, that's a good one. Also, my very first elk that I ever shot, which technically I say I shot half of an elk because my brother-in-law shot the same elk. I don't want to. I don't like giving my stories too quick because I feel like I'm not giving the full story to you when I'm just going like, oh yeah, this is what happened. But I've got episodes in the podcast. I think the 2023 season recap is for my archery elk. There might be a little language in there, Joe Senior. So sorry about that. It's your choice whether or not you can listen to it. And then the other one, I've told that other story a bunch of times. Where again, I had almost shot one, but there's a tent right behind this elk, and I run over, and there's another elk right to the side. I shoot it. Turns out my brother-in-law shot the exact same one. So, but still, it was an adventure. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
What
that's
else
something
you
I
got
want to
for us?
get into.
It's
I was
great.
gonna say that's something I want to get into is going out west and hunting elk and mule deer. That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to if you're already a hunter and you just want to get out west, just do it because it's only going to get harder and harder. 2 years ago, you could just come to Colorado whenever and hunt. Can't do that anymore. Now you got to put in for a draw for archery specifically. And I think 3 years, that's going to be the same case for rifle as well. So it's only going to get harder, whether it's Colorado or any one of the other states. Get out there and do it, man.
Yep, definitely. That's on the bucket list for sure.
And as soon as you can, start getting Joey some points. That way he has a good opportunity for some of those good units when he's actually old enough to get out here and do it himself.
Right.
Yeah.
There's one more question I want to ask.
All right, Joey, what do you got?
So the question I wanted to ask is that, how many times, do you know how many times you went dove hunting?
Oh, yes.
Because me and my dad have went dove hunting only one time, but it was a really good, because, one dove we shot almost hit me.
Oh,
Came
really?
down and almost hit me. Yeah.
That's awesome. Then your dad's a better dove hunter than me. I've been dove hunting like 3 times. Okay, that's it. Get some water, try and clear up my throat a little bit. I lived in Texas for a few years, and so I was down there, and I was like, you know what? Let's try and figure this out. So I went to Buc-ee's. If you guys are familiar with Buc-ee's, the best gas station in the world, they have all that you need for dove hunting. So I got a decoy there, I got a bucket there, I got everything I needed. Came out and just tried to figure it out. Did not have very much luck. I think the 3 times I went, I have shot 3 birds. 0 the first time, 1 the second time, 2 the third time. So maybe I need to keep going. But yeah, I have been, and it is a ton of fun.
It is.
I've told that story on the podcast as well too. I have no idea what episodes. You're gonna have to listen to all of them, Joey. I hope that's okay. All 170, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. I'm a terrible shot. Apparently, I didn't realize that if I just wasn't looking down my shotgun, and I was just using the bead at the end, and I was shooting above them. I figured that out, and all of a sudden, I think I hit my last 3 birds. So, yep.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to, but we always go on opening day here in Indiana. One of my buddies has he plants a sunflower field. It's about an acre, and they roll in there that first opening morning, man. We killed over 100 this year. With
That's
like
amazing.
8 guys or something. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I would love to experience that. Is that when Joey came out with you and almost got hit by a bird?
Yeah. he came the day after or something. We went back out.
yeah, and my his friend had a lot of shotgun shells, and I decorated the tree with them.
Not, Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
That's too awesome. That's too awesome. Yeah, I would love to get into one of those big old, dove hunting parties where 100+ birds come down. I've heard of some pretty awesome stories. I'm trying to remember who from Field to Plate. Jeremiah Daughtry. He tells some great stories about him almost getting hit, except Joey, he caught the bird as it was coming to him, and it was the last bird of his limit. So it came down, he catches it, and he looks at his buddies, and he goes, "That's all for me, boys," and he walks off.
I just listened to that episode. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, Joey, what else you got? More questions for me? I think I'm going to pass the test.
Okay, so
That's all right. I can start telling my story.
yeah, let him tell his stories, and
Okay.
I'll maybe tell another question at the end.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, Joe Sr., why don't you set the stage, man? This was fun. Thank you for bringing Joey along, by the way. I had no idea he was going to be here, so that was fun. Man.
I told him we were going to do it, and he was like, "Can I be on it?" And I was like, "Sure, you can ask a couple questions or something. I'm sure it'll be fine."
There we
I've
go.
never been
That's
on a
perfect.
podcast before.
I've been on too many, man. Too many. So, okay. But what are we here for, Joey? We're here for some hunting stories, right? So, Joe, why don't you set the stage and
Sure.
let's get going.
So, like I said earlier, I didn't start hunting until I was 23, and all my buddies were hunting, so I wanted to go. And one of them invited me. He's like, "Come on!" So I went out, bought that Mossberg 500, and the first day we went out, first day I've ever hunted, and we went out that morning, three of us. One guy killed a little 7-pointer. This was gun season in mid-November here, so he got one. We went back, cleaned it up, and in the afternoon we went to a different spot. It was his girlfriend's parents' property that hadn't been touched in years, and little did we know it was going to be just awesome when we walked in there. So we walked in about 4 o'clock or so in the afternoon, set one of those buck bombs off on the trail, and just let it go. And then we walked down the trail some and sat on this hillside across from that trail.
So, what's a buck bomb? Sorry, I've done
Like
mostly Western big
estrus.
game. So, okay,
Yeah, like
gotcha.
estrus. Yeah. So, but it's a whole can. You just let it go.
Okay.
Just to get the scent out there. Well, then we walked down, sat on this hillside. I sat down on the hillside. He sat up on the hillside. And I'm sitting there, not really knowing what I'm doing. I had my shotgun across my lap, not ready at all. And this little button buck comes up, and he comes out of this thicket, and he stops like probably 10 yards from me and looks right at me, blows at me, stomps his feet, takes off. And I'm shaking at that point, that's my first day out. So I walked back up to the hill, and I told my friend what happened. He's like, "Well, that's all right. Just sit down here below me, and we'll see what happens." And I would say it was 20 minutes later, and this buck comes out in front of us, and he's like, "Deer, deer." And I get my gun up, and he's perfectly broadside. We're sitting on the ground, mind you, also just sitting
Okay.
on this hillside against a tree. And this buck's probably 30 yards, and he's completely broadside, but he's facing right where we had that buck bomb. I don't know if he smelled it or not, but he probably did. And I get my gun up, and he's like, "Shoot it, shoot it." He's behind me. "Shoot it, shoot it." And I let it go, boom. And that deer mule kicks, and I watch it. It took just a few steps, and it just, boom, falls right over.
So you shooting
And
with a double-aught buck or with a slug?
Slug.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, a slug. And yeah, hit him high a little bit, but clipped the lungs. And yeah, he fell right there. And he's like, "We just need to stay put. It's still early. It was only 5 o'clock at that point, probably 4:30." And I'm sitting there, I'm shaking, and I'm like looking back at him. I'm like, "We got to go find this thing." So we get up, go find it, and I actually passed it up, and he's like, "Hey man, your buck's back here." And so anyway, we get down, and he's like, "Man, this is a lifetime deer, you know." He's like, "This is a great deer. It's actually this buck right here."
Yeah, that's a beautiful buck.
And
I've already
yeah,
noticed the other one because that other one's super unique, but I'm sure we'll talk about that one later. But yeah,
yes, we
let's
will.
keep going.
Yes, we will. So anyway, yeah, first buck, he's like 133-inch deer. I thought I was on top of the world. Stop. I thought I was on top of the world that day. And we actually put him in the back of the truck. We rode around town with him hanging out of the back of
There
the
you go.
truck. Went and got a beer, you know, celebrated. And yeah, it was an awesome experience. But while we were gutting that deer, the third guy that was hunting with us, we're gutting that deer, and all of a sudden we hear boom, boom, and we can hear the slugs coming. They're close to us, so
Yeah.
we just hit the deck.
Jeez.
We just hit the deck. We call him. We're like, "What are you doing, man?" He's like, "I just saw a monster." He was like, he was huge, you know, and he missed him.
Oh,
But he was a monster apparently, and he said he was on his phone talking. He's like, "Oh no, boom!" Yeah.
jeez.
Anyway, yeah, that was part of the story. It's pretty funny, but yeah, it's a little dangerous.
That
But
is
anyway, we
dangerous.
were
Did you
all
ever like figuring out where he was and where he shot? How close do you think he actually was? How close were those shots to you?
well. I think he was. I think he didn't know where we were,
Understandable.
and
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know. I don't remember. It was years ago.
Okay.
It was 15 years ago, but I'd say he's 100 yards and he was shooting at us, you know, and we
Jeez.
heard the lead flying over top of us. Yeah,
My goodness, that's
it was a little
terrifying.
sketchy.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that
it
was
was.
your first ever time out.
Yeah, that was my first day out.
So 130-inch trophy buck, just
Yeah.
day one. All right. I hope you had
Yeah.
some trial and tribulation later in your hunting career, and it hasn't always been
Oh,
that
for
easy.
sure. Yes,
Okay.
for
All
sure.
right. But yeah, man,
But
that's
yeah, I
a
was
beautiful
spoiled.
buck.
Yeah, I was spoiled, and actually, the next few years after that, I really didn't hunt that much. Just during gun season, occasionally, you know, and it's only 2 weeks long, so didn't hunt a whole lot. Went out with the guys at deer camp and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
which that's a big part of the story is deer camp for us. We've been doing that for a long time, and some of my buddies been going with their dads since they were 14 or 15 years old,
Yeah.
and we still go to the same area every year on public, and we camp, and
That's great.
it's a long tradition that, and now and some years we have 12 or 15 guys in camp. I mean, it's a big,
That's
it's
amazing.
awesome, man. It really
That's
is.
cool. That's kind of like
Yeah.
I'm a newer hunter too. I mean, if you've listened, you know. But that's kind of where I
Yeah.
got the idea for the podcast. I fell in love with being at camp and telling the stories of like what happened to you that day. And that's kind of
Yeah.
the vibe that I was going for. Is like I just want to hear, you know, everybody's stories, whether they're good, bad,
Yeah.
funny, whatever. It doesn't matter. So that's awesome because that's like I've never been a part of a whitetail deer camp. I'd love to be part of one at some point. I'm
Yeah.
sure I will. But yeah, man,
a lot of
that's
fun.
super cool.
Yeah. And we can get a little rowdy sometimes at camp. With that many guys, it's just inevitable, you know.
Joey's like,
But,
oh yeah, Joey's the rowdiest one of the bunch, I bet.
Yeah.
he's been to deer camp with us a few times for sure.
Yeah.
So, but
That's great.
anyway, yeah, that was my first buck, and yeah, I was on top of the world for a long time. Everybody was
amazing.
like, "Oh, you're spoiled," you know, it's first deer, whatever. But yeah, it was awesome.
So was that first deer the moment that you were like, all right, this is my personality now. I am now just completely addicted, or was it later? Was it something else? Maybe actually having to work for it that made it
Yeah.
special for you.
Definitely. Later, like I said, those few, you know, years after that, probably 5 or 6 years after that, just gun hunted, really didn't kill anything. I was there for camp, you know,
Yeah.
more than anything. And
Running an outdoor business is a grind. One day you're glassing ridgelines or running dogs, the next you're tuning gear or working to keep the land wild. And somewhere in between, you're expected to fill calendars, move product, and keep your name alive. That's where the Ignite Marketing Group comes in. They work with outfitters, gear brands, and conservation groups to tell your story the way it deserves to be told, and to put it in front of the people who live for this lifestyle. Imagine a website that doesn't just sit there but actually books hunts. Imagine campaigns that don't feel like ads but like a buddy passing along a tip. Imagine your story reaching more hunters, anglers, and outdoor enthusiasts who get it and who want it. That's what Ignite does. No gimmicks, no flash, just real growth for people who belong in the outdoors. Don't just market, ignite it. Learn more at ignitemarketinggp.com/outdoors. Hey hunters, have you ever had one of those stories, the ones that you didn't want to tell, the ones that end in failure? Yeah, I've been there. Actually, you know what? The culprit for me usually is bad optics, or worse, lack of using my optics at all. Picture this. I spot a trophy buck, or an antelope, or an elk, whatever it may be. My heart is racing, but the blurry view, or I just can't quite identify exactly what I'm looking at, it has me second guessing. Well, that's where Vortex Optics comes in. With crystal clear glass and rugged durability, Vortex gives you the confidence to take the shot. Don't let poor optics ruin your story. Make every moment count. Upgrade to Vortex and turn your hunting tales into triumphs. Visit vortexoptics.com today.
Hunting is not easy. It never has been. It takes dedication, motivation, a lot of patience, and quality gear. If you manage a food plot, put up stands, or need just one more game camera, we can help at midwayusa.com. We opened our doors in 1977 and continue to put customers first by offering super fast, same-day shipping. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to midwayusa.com.
Finally got introduced to shooting a bow, and I took to that a lot. I like shooting a bow. That was probably
what was it that got you? Just a buddy had a bow and you're like, let me try that, or was it like seasonality?
I didn't really try it, but I saw them shooting. And I was like, well, I can now hunt a whole month and a half more early season. I was like, so I'd rather do that. I felt kind of limited with just gun hunting, and I wasn't super into it. But all my buddies were bow hunting, so I was like, well, I got to get into it now.
Okay.
So
Peer pressure.
ended
All
up,
right.
ended up actually my father-in-law gave me a crossbow in probably 2019, and that was the first bow hunting I've done.
Okay.
And I missed deer with that thing. Honestly, I hated it. It was dangerous. I feel like crossbows are just dangerous. There's so much tension, and I didn't like it, but I did it for a season at deer camp. All the buddies gave me hell for hunting with the crossbow. They called me Crossbow Joe they still call me that, So anyway, that lasted one season. I missed it with it.
The best thing about hunting camp, you do one thing one time, that name will stick with you for generations.
It will.
for people's kids are going to call you Crossbow Joe just because of one time.
They will.
I'm not.
Not yet. You get a little bit older, you get a little bit of an attitude on you, Joey. I'm sure you will.
Right. He will, for sure.
Right.
But Crossbow Joe. So I was like, well, I got to get me a compound.
Yep.
So got me a compound, practiced with that, got used to it, and then I started hunting. That's when I got kind of addicted.
Okay.
Just shooting my bow, really. I just love shooting my bow. So I do that a lot, all year round. I shoot ASA tournaments and stuff like that,
Okay.
IBO. I do now. I didn't then, but starting off, I was shooting like local bow shoots and stuff like that, and really got into it. So started shooting quite a bit and started hunting. I noticed it was much tougher to shoot one with your bow. You gotta get them in close, and I missed deer. So from 2020 to 2023, I probably missed 3, 4 deer. Missed them with gun too, and gun season. Was just on a slump basically, and I was hunting a lot. I mean, I was driving an hour to public, hunting a lot. A lot of mornings spent in the woods, and or a lot of days. Well, I finally got one in close. He was just a little forking horn, and he walked right under my stand. And I'm still kind of new at it, but it was probably 2022, and hit him right in the back strap,
Yeah.
and I know that deer didn't die. We looked for him for a long time. We had just drops of blood, but it's such big country out there. We looked for hours, but ended up losing blood. I was like, he's still alive. I know he is.
Okay.
That was my one bad shot, and that taught me a lot. I was like, that was just a bad decision to shoot him basically right underneath me, in my stand. So brings us to the 2023 season. I'm really getting into it. I'm scouting more. Summer scouting, cameras out, all that stuff. And I decide during that season, I was like, I get cold and bored in a tree stand. So I'm gonna try a ghillie suit and still hunt on the ground.
Okay.
And the first time out in October, and basically I would walk in with that ghillie suit real slow, trying to sound like a deer. I'd blow my grunt call, make a scrape even, while I was walking to the area I wanted to. Well, the first day I was doing that, first day out with the ghillie suit, I'd listen to a lot of the hunting public guys, and
Okay.
that's where I got the idea to do this kind of stuff. And anyway, it worked like a charm.
Did
I
it?
mean, yeah. So the first day I followed this trail in, I'm making my noises, I'm walking slow, and I stop and I just kind of watch for a minute. And sure enough, two small does come up, and I'm in a thick part, so I really couldn't get good shot. But and they were looking right at me too, trying to figure out what I was in
Yeah.
full ghillie suit, which I actually got it right here.
Okay.
Uh, ghillie suit that I wear. It's just a cheap one, but it works.
Yeah.
Fools the deer. So anyway, I had immediate success with hunting on the ground. That those does came in. One of them came right to me, nose in the air, inching towards me, and I bet that deer got within 5 yards of me.
No
I
way.
mean,
Just trying to figure it
super
out.
close. Just trying
Huh.
to figure out what it was. I couldn't move, I'm frozen, shaking, trying to stay still.
Yeah.
But anyway, that those tried to figure out what it was for what felt like an eternity. It was probably 15 minutes, but they hung around for a long time and trying to figure out what it was. They were within 20 yards. I never got a shot, but it was a just incredible experience being that close to deer.
That's super
Um,
cool. Let
yeah,
me ask.
so it ended up,
I might be
yeah,
jumping the gun here, but with the
you're
ghillie
good.
suit, do you have trouble shooting your bow? Because like you're a lot bigger, right? So like my gear typically is like tapered in the arms to keep it away from the bowstring and stuff like that. Is there any
Yeah.
issues with a ghillie suit and archery?
So at first,
Or am I jumping
that's
into
something.
the story at a time that you're about to tell me?
Well, no, that's something
Okay.
I had to figure out. And I shooting at home with the ghillie suit, I started getting tangled in my string and stuff. So ended up trimming a lot of off the arms.
Okay.
It's real short now.
Okay.
And that, kept it from getting tangled and stuff. The main thing with the ghillie suit is walking through the woods and you get stuck on every limb and the leaves stick to you and it just
Yep.
grabs whatever you walk by. But anyway, I had just such good success. First day out, I was excited. I was like, I'm gonna go all in on this year. And finally, I get my first bow kill in that ghillie suit. It's a little fawn doe, but I
Yeah.
was just,
It's meat.
it was a long time. It was 3 years coming. I've been bow hunting, hadn't shot anything. So killed one,
Also,
and
I
then
mean,
yeah,
whitetail. I don't know if I've been doing a lot of these episodes. I'm not sure if I've heard a spot and stock whitetail story before, even in a ghillie suit, no
yeah,
ghillie suit, whatever. So that's impressive. Most people, tree stand, blind, whatever it might be,
right.
like spot and stock whitetails is like almost rumored to be too hard to do. So that's an impressive kill, even if it
It
was
was
a
just
young doe.
Yeah, it was just a crazy experience. The whole season was crazy. Um, and anyway, got my first kill. I'm like, did it on the ground in a ghillie suit with my bow. I felt on top of the world. And then probably a month later, I killed another doe. You buy a bundle here for your tags,
Okay.
a buck and two does. And so I had both does killed, and we still hadn't made it to deer camp yet. So I was like, here's my chance. I was like, I'm gonna kill. I kept telling him, I'm gonna kill a big buck at camp.
Yeah.
And anyway, we get to camp, and all the guys, of course, making fun of me for wearing a ghillie suit. They're like, you're not gonna get close to
Yeah.
no deer doing that.
Where's your
They,
crossbow, Joe? Come on.
yeah. They laughed at me. I put it on one night, and they just all cracked up. It was all good and fun, but I was still
Yeah.
getting a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're like, I'll
so
show them.
yeah, so. You know how deer camp go. We stay for a week, and the last 2 days is gun season. So we bow hunt the whole week up to it. So we were bow hunting all week. Wednesday comes around, hadn't really seen much, no kills in camp yet. We ended up just drinking beer all day and playing cards and
Been there.
having
Been there.
good camp. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Having
mean,
a
just a
great
fun.
time.
Yes, just a fun camp. So anyway, we wasted the whole day Wednesday doing that. Thursday morning we get up and walk out, and this is the story of this other buck here.
That is
And
I just after noticing him, Joey steps moved around a little bit. I noticed all the plaques, so I'm excited to talk about this guy. So keep going.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's kind of funny. Little. Anyway, I'll tell it.
Okay.
We're walking out. I'm walking out with one buddy, and he breaks off the trail. I'm like, good luck, dude. It's dark. We're walking out. Uh, it's about a mile walk to where I hunt, and I'm probably three-quarters of the way back, and I think I jumped a deer, and I think he or she, I couldn't see, it was dark. I was no headlamp, and the the deer jumped up, and immediately, like, I had bubble guts from drinking beer all day yesterday, and like between the deer jumping and like my adrenaline's rushing, I was like, I have to drop trowel right here.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah. So I'm basically like having a stare off with a deer while I'm pooping on the trail. And anyway, she ends up blowing, going down the hill. I clean up, move on. And I get down.
Oh
By this time,
my.
it's starting to break day. And I walk. I'm still in that ghillie to sneak over this hill, and I get to this area. I'm like, man, this just looks good. So I set up with a tree next to me, and then a blow down right in front of me. So I'm pretty covered. So I sit there for a while. I hit the little cane call, grunt a little bit, and I just notice movement through the thicket, and I see antlers, and I'm
Mhm.
like, here we go. This is what I've been waiting for all season. I haven't seen a buck all season. This is it. And he's probably 60 yards away. And all I can see is rack through the brush, and they're slowly just feeding, making his way up, and all of a sudden there's a doe. Feels like she just appeared out of nowhere because I was so focused on him, and she's
Yeah.
close. She's 30 yards. So I'm just holding my bow like this, trying to not move, and I, I feel like I watched those deer for a half an hour, and they just slowly were feeding on acorns, coming up closer, closer, and at one point the doe is probably at 10 yards, and she's to my right, and she just looks right at me, but it's like she's looking through me because
Yeah.
I'm in that suit. She doesn't see me. And somehow they don't smell me. I can't explain
Are
that.
you just walking into
But
the wind, or you just got lucky?
there was no wind. It was completely
Okay.
calm. It was probably 9 a.m. at this
Okay.
point. And that doe looks right through me, and I thought they were going to go up the hill to my right. So I'm like getting prepared to turn because that buck's going to follow her. I mean, it was peak rut. He was with her.
Yeah.
And they might have been on lockdown. I don't know. It was, I mean, every step she took, he was 10 yards behind. He'd take a step. He wasn't letting her out of his sight, you know. So anyway, she turns towards me and she literally walks a foot in front of that blowdown right in front of me. And so I could have touched her with an arrow. That's how
Yeah.
close I could hear her sniffing the ground. It was the closest encounter I've ever had with a deer. And she's walking right in front of me, and he's probably out 8 or 10 yards away from the blowdown, and he's 10 yards behind her. And I finally, like, he hits where he's just past the tree, and I can actually see him real good for the first time, and he is just huge, man. I mean,
Yeah.
he looks like a giant standing there. I was like, oh my gosh, just trying to keep it together, you know. And she kind of just move. I mean, they're moving so slow. You know how slow they move.
Yeah.
And she gets past me. He's directly in front of me, so I'm like, I gotta wait until he's past me some before I can move and draw, so he doesn't see me draw. And that's exactly what he did. He's looking forward, and which is basically off to my left, but he's just slightly quartered now because he passed me. And I don't even remember the shot. I remember pulling back, and that doe jumps because she's right there. I mean, she's 5 yards, and he just looks over at her, and I just let it fly, and it hits him. I watched the lighted knot go right in his armpit,
Yeah.
and he runs, and I watch him fall over 20 yards later, probably. And
Wow.
immediately it's just like, I can breathe now.
Adrenaline dump.
Yeah. And I call him, and I was like, I did it, I killed a big one. And it
That's
was just
amazing.
it was just like a huge relief, you know. 3 years of bow hunting, and finally killed a really nice. I didn't know how nice he was till I walked up on him, and I was like, oh, he's got an extra main beam. I
Yeah.
said, this is crazy. And I'm like taking pictures, and you know, at this point I'm texting everybody, or I called one of my buddies at camp. I'm like, dude, I just shot a monster. I just shot a monster. He's like, stay where you are. I was like, he's down, he's dead. And they got to get out of their stand and walk probably 2 miles to me. So it was a while before anybody got back there, but 4 guys came, and
They were all
I'm
like,
gutting it.
holy shit.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember him walking down the trail. I was probably only 50 or 60 yards off the main trail, and I can hear him walking down, and I go, woo, out in the woods. I
Yeah.
was like, right here, boys, and came down. You know, we took pictures and all that stuff, and dragged him back to camp.
That's
And
so
yeah, it
cool.
was definitely
Man,
the
so for the
pinnacle
audio
of my
listeners, you guys can't see this deer over his shoulder, but the first one you shot, you said was 130.
yeah. Here's
So I'm guessing.
that's the 130.
Yeah, I'm guessing the other guy, and then you tell me, without the extra main beam, which is crazy, like that
Yeah.
deer is probably what, like a 160 without that extra main beam?
No,
150?
probably 140.
He
Yeah.
looks way bigger than the other one for being 130.
He
But
is.
that's a cool deer.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses come with open-ear audio, so you can listen to your favorite music without blocking out the world around you.
Hey Meta, play Gorgeous.
Here's Gorgeous by Doja Cat.
You can also ask Meta AI questions.
Hey Meta, when's Doja Cat's next concert?
Doja Cat is playing at the Los Angeles Theater next Tuesday.
Sweet.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, available at Ray-Ban stores and other authorized retailers.
Meet the computer you can talk to. With Copilot on Windows, working, creating, and collaborating is as easy as talking. Got writer's block? Share your screen with Copilot Vision to help spark inspiration, and use Copilot Voice to have a conversation and brainstorm ideas. Or maybe you need some tech help. With Copilot Vision, Copilot sees what you see. Let Copilot talk you through step-by-step guidance so you can master new apps, games, and skills faster. Try now at windows.com/Copilot.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels on everything from lamps to ceiling fans, even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes, now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox, clean feels good.
He ended up scoring 163.
Okay. That's such a cool deer, man.
I have the Buckmasters thing, 163 and 3/8 or something.
Okay.
So
what's that other thing above the measuring page? What's that?
That's the Buckmasters certificate of entry.
Okay.
They without the I guess the spread, he had 146 and 5/8 total inches of bone. So that's that.
That's
there.
cool, man. That's a really cool deer. I don't think I've ever seen one with just a straight up extra beam. And that's cool that you didn't even see it when you were shooting, because if you're telling the story and he's moving to your left, that's on his opposite side, right? So you never saw it until he was down. Otherwise, you might have lost it.
Yeah, I had no idea.
That's a
really
cool deer. That's a super cool deer. Joey, and when your dad called you, how did you feel, man? Were you just like, yeah, my dad's the strongest man in the world? I bet.
The best than anyone. Better than anyone.
Yeah, he's like, crossbow this, boys, right? Right, Joey?
Exactly. Now I had the biggest deer at camp that probably has ever been shot out there, so I was like, yeah. F you to those guys,
Yeah.
You got bragging rights.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Cool.
That's
that was
amazing.
2 years ago. Yeah. That was fun.
So, okay, that was 2 years ago. So then last year, did every one of your boys show up with a ghillie suit?
I had one guy that was like, I think I'm going to buy a ghillie suit. I'm like, you were laughing at me when I had mine. I was like, you can't do that. You better just stick to your tree stand, bub.
Yeah, why don't you climb up your tree and climb down when you got to poo, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's something I just thought of with that comment. You probably not, but like, you pooped on the trail. Did the boys have any issues with your poop on the trail earlier?
They saw it. They saw it on the way out. Yeah. I was
That's
like,
funny.
there was nothing I could do. I had to go now, bub.
You got to go. Yep. That's too funny, man. That's too funny. And that's a beautiful, beautiful buck, man. Super unique.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever, I mean, I'll be lucky to kill a whitetail again, let alone one like that. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
Did I interrupt the end of the story, or you got any more to tell there?
No, that was pretty much it. I mean, I just went back to camp, and I was hard to live with the rest of the weekend, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. All of a sudden, they need to go on an extra beer run, I think.
That's right. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool, Joe. Well, you got any more stories for us, or is that the one you wanted to finish up with today?
That was the main one. I have one more if you want to.
Let's do it. We got time.
More of a sentimental story.
Okay.
It was a turkey hunt, actually. That turkey.
That's cool.
On the wall. Yeah, I did that myself. I just used the feathers and glued them all in, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Looks good.
He had like 11-inch beard. I don't even know what his spurs were, but the story is one of the buddies that we go to deer camp with, he's taking me out to his grandma's property, and he gets poison ivy so bad, like he is super, super allergic to it. So he won't go run and gun turkeys like most people do. So he just sits in a deer blind, and he calls and waits for him to come to him. So that's what we did that day. He's always done that, but that day we called in the morning and didn't hear anything. We ended up we were like, I wonder what the difference between a Jake Goblin and a Tom Goblin is. Is there a difference? And we're starting to look it up on our phone, and all of a sudden, hammer. We hear him hammer. They're close.
Okay.
And I was like, and we were sitting on a field edge, and that's where we were expecting him to come. He had some decoys out in the field. Well, they ended up coming behind us in the woods, and I looked through the tiny little window in the blind. I'm like, I see redhead. I said, there's two of them. I said, because he told me before the hunt started, he's like, if only one comes in, I'm shooting him. I was like, all right, I get it. And anyway, these two turkeys come in. There ended up actually being three of them, but they all came in. They were probably 40 yards, and he hits the call again just to hear him hammer one more time. And they hammered, and they ended up coming to probably, I don't know, 25 yards or so. And I said, you get the front one, I'll take the back one. 1, 2, 3, boom, same time. Like we didn't practice that or anything,
Yeah.
but it was perfect. It sounded like one gunshot. And both those turkeys dropped and we doubled up, man. He looked at me and he said, I can't believe that just happened. It was so cool, man. And the sentimental part of that story is the year before, actually, in 2023, my grandpa passed away.
Okay.
And he was 98 years old, and he was in World War II. He was a badass.
Yeah.
But I inherited a bunch of his guns, and I used his 410. It's an old Winchester 410.
I do.
Well, you have used it, yeah. But that Winchester 410 I used and killed it with that gun, and it was pretty special, to be honest. Like first time out with that gun, and that we doubled up like that. It was really, really cool experience, man. It really
That's
was.
awesome. That is awesome, man.
And
My grandpa was in
I've
World
heard,
War II, but you may have heard
oh
this
yeah,
on the podcast. But he passed away a good 15 to 20 years before I realized I was into guns and hunting. And I asked,
yeah.
as soon as I realized, oh yeah, what happened to those guns? I asked my uncle, hey, what happened to all of Grandpa's old war guns? Sold them all. So.
Oh really?
Yep. Too bad, because
Yeah,
he had like 3 cases. That every time we'd go to visit him in Kansas, I'd be like, man, these are any little boy, look at these cool guns.
yeah. Oh
But
yeah,
nope, never had the opportunity. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
jealous. It's a very cool story.
I didn't get any war guns per se, but like his old shot, like I have the first one I inherited from him is the first shotgun Remington ever made, 12 gauge. It's an awesome pump. That's what I use for dove hunting.
Okay.
And got that 410 and a couple other 22s and stuff. It was pretty cool. Like he had a whole box of a Sears and Roebuck 22 that they just shipped to your house back then in 1954 or something.
Yeah,
So and then the gun is in perfect condition. So it's like
that's
it's
awesome.
really cool to have. Yeah, but yeah, that's my last story. But it was just sentimental. I really like that. Yeah,
That's a good one.
it was
That's a good
fun.
one. And it's a good bird. It's cool. I have a buddy who shoots 2 birds at one time. But it was by himself. Like he shot one and the other one just stood there. He's like, all right, well, let's go ahead and get that next one.
Yeah.
In Texas, where you're allowed to do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
they were both
We're a
jakes, though.
wonder.
I give him. You got to find the opportunity to give your friends grief. So he shot 2
Yes.
jakes. So I'm like, yeah, sure. You shot 2 jakes. You didn't shoot 2 toms. So
Right.
right
Still
after, yeah,
fun, though. Just
same day I
turkeys,
shot
yeah.
same spot, the biggest tom I've ever shot. So
Really?
yep.
Nice.
Yep. I think it's this guy back there behind the ram.
Oh,
But
yeah.
cool. Well, Joe, man, this was a ton of fun. And Joey, thank you for being here, man. You got any new questions for me? Think of anything else?
Yeah. I actually have 2 stories to tell, if that's okay.
All right, man. Okay, let's do it.
All right. So one time, me and my dad were at deer camp. We were going to deer camp, and
You better not be drinking beer in this story, Joey.
I wasn't.
All right.
I'm 10. I can't. Anyway, so we were walking out, and I was tired, very tired. So but I, got through it, and we saw me and him both saw a little deer. It was like over there of us, and I was shaking.
Yeah.
I was shaking. I've never saw an actual deer alive and walking.
Really?
And and that was the first deer I've ever saw. So I was like, oh my God, Dad, look, there's a deer. So he saw there's a deer, and we didn't have a good shot because it was with a bow and arrow.
Okay.
So we didn't have a very good shot on it.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
grunted at him and tried to get him to turn around, but
It didn't work.
he would.
Yeah, and I
Well,
was
Joey, have you
really
ever been there when somebody at camp killed a deer?
Were you?
I think so. Maybe one time. Someone's probably killed a deer.
I bet you were there.
Yeah,
Hayden killed, maybe.
no, it was like Brian Lambert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably Lambert. But
Okay.
anyways, and the other story I want to tell is another time. The first time I went out to deer camp, we were sleeping. You know, we heard a truck pull out and go. I don't know why. Remember we heard that truck?
Yeah.
And my dad said to me, because he kind of got woken up too, he said, "Okay, we're going to wake up in a little bit." And I said, okay. And then I fell back to sleep. And then, so he woke me up. And then and then we were out there and we didn't see anything. And he had this little blue mattress, and I had something like one of his hoodies like as a blanket, and I slept for about an hour or two. And I don't know why, I was just so tired. And probably that same day, I think it might have been after that, or it may have been another day. But I was like, I felt really sick, and yeah, and I threw up a lot, and I had to throw up into one of his boots.
In his boot. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I was taking him home, and he's like, "I gotta throw up, Dad." I'm like, "Well, just use that boot back there, because we're on the highway."
Yeah. Hunting boot or just like a regular boot?
Yeah, hunting boot. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And
I thought it was
also
on
that
accident.
guy,
I guess if it's directed, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to. Like, I felt very sick that same
That's
day.
all right.
He said he felt like very bad for not, because I threw up in the camp, and he didn't take me home, and he said he felt really bad about not taking me back home.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling good.
Yeah, hey, we've all been there. We've all been a little man and had to throw up, and we didn't want to. So it happens to the best of us. At least it wasn't because of too many beers, Joey.
That's
It's
true.
because I think either A, I didn't eat a lot, or B, the only thing I ate at deer camp was like lemon Oreos.
That would do it.
Oreos.
100% lemon Oreo diet would do it for me, for sure.
So,
all right, well,
and yeah, I didn't.
All right, we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah.
Well, Joey, hey, you can hunt at what, 12 or 14, where you guys are at?
I think he can hunt now if he wants.
Oh, he can? Okay. Well, Joey,
Yeah,
when you get your first deer, we'll get you back on, man, all right? And you can come tell the story of when you get a deer. I want to hear about you gutting it and all that stuff and see if you throw up for that. Deal?
I have, me and my dad have gutted a deer before.
Okay, very cool, man. Very cool. Well, we'll have you back on. I think this is actually, I like this idea of like getting a bunch of stories of like little, like, you know, between 10 and 16-year-olds telling their one deer story and then moving on and just getting a bunch of kids telling one episode. I think that'd be fun. So, Joey,
yeah.
I'm going to pencil you in, man. You go out there and you get a deer for me, all right? And then we'll have you tell that story. Sound good? Perfect.
Good.
Perfect, Joey. All right, Joe, thank you, man. I appreciate you reaching out, brother. Do you want to share anything with the listeners? Any socials or even websites or whatever? Nope.
As you say, I'll ride out into the sunset, man.
Let's do it, brother. Let's do it. All right, man. Thank you again. I appreciate you both. All right, guys. That's it. Another couple stories in the books. I want to thank Joe for, one, telling us his great stories, sharing his really cool deer with us. And then two, of course, for just coming on, being brave, filling out the form, and saying, hey, I've got some stories to tell. That being said, guys, if you have some stories to tell, or if someone in your family has a story, let's get on here. Let's tell those stories. Let's share them with the world. But, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Joe, thank you for coming on. Joey, thank you, man, for coming on. It was really nice to meet you, and I do love the idea of him getting a deer and coming on, and we do an episode where a bunch of, 12 to 16-year-olds share their stories of their...
You know the words dominating today's headlines.
Private equity
generative capital gains tax.
America's chip war with market volatility.
Bets on Fed rate cuts are...
But do you understand how they impact your world and your wallet? In a world that skims the what, understand the why. Because context changes everything. Subscribe at Bloomberg.com.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but Mint's premium wireless is $15 a month. But I'd like to offer one other perk. We have no stores. That means no small talk. Crazy weather we're having. No, it's not. It's just weather. It is an introvert's dream. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hey there. I'm April Vokey from the Anchored podcast. Each episode, I sit down with fly fishing's most fascinating voices for real face-to-face conversations about everything from steelhead and fly tying to travel and conservation. Come join me and discover a side of fly fishing you won't find anywhere else on Anchored with April Vokey.